Good morning, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. It is Tuesday, March 31st, 2015, the last day of March. Stock futures are pulling back, and you see we're getting the same kind of action we've seen throughout the pullback from the record highs, where the European market opens for trade and stock futures just fall off a cliff. We've seen a bit of a meltdown overnight, but really when the European market opened for trade, we pulled back in a significant fashion here. We're down over 0.5%. The euro-dollar cross. The euro continues to weaken. The dollar has rallied up near the 99 level. You can see the euro-dollar is down almost 1%, which is a large move for a currency. You can see back at over 110 late last week, now down near 107.40. So it's a big move, which is taking the U.S. dollar, which the index has a large weighting of the euro in it. 40% of it, I believe, is the euro. You can see the rally it's had since Thursday, corresponding with the 110 move in the euro, down to 107. We're seeing the U.S. dollar move in the opposite direction, gaining strength, hitting almost 99 before pulling back. I think something to watch, again, is the U.S. dollar. We cannot see this go spiraling upward, out of control. We're going to get to talk about shrinking profits from multinationals as the U.S. dollar kind of crimps profit potential there. But it makes imports a little cheaper for the U.S. consumers. They've got a little more buying power. Bing! You can see we're coming back up now. What I would like to see, and I think what ultimately we're going to see, is a pullback. We're going to see a pullback down to this level here at about 95.50 here on the U.S. dollar index, which is going to help bolster stocks a little bit. But right now, we're seeing the U.S. dollar gain strength, which is not good. It's also going to take down crude oil commodity, the commodity complex. Crude oil is down over 2%. Look at it. We hit our lows earlier this month. Seem to be rolling over again. I know everybody was talking about as we started to move here, possible some sort of a double bottom or some sort of a bottoming process. And we're starting to pull back here, coinciding again with the strengthening U.S. dollar. Crude oil is lower. Gold futures have moved off the lows this morning. Was down over 1% last night, pulling a little closer. There you go. We're going to have a bounce just after the European markets open for trade. A significant rally here. We'll see if we can hold those gains. Let's move on to some individual stocks to watch. WWE, you remember last year, was announcing a TV network spiking to massive, 200-300% gain. And then just when the WWE WrestleMania, 6,000 was over, the stock started to plummet, fell off a cliff. Earnings report, gap down. There was, what was the negative? There was some sort of negative catalyst here for this gap below support. But you can see support at about $15 a share, came up to it late last year, in the fall of last year, it's middle of September, the $15 level, pulled back to 10. What a great buying opportunity heading into the World Wrestling, what was that? Again, WrestleMania 6001 or something like that. And you can see the move up it's had, kind of flagging, and then boom! WrestleMania is over, and the stock just falls off a cliff here, and you can see the $15 level has been broken. So this is going to be a good time to get into some puts for a continuation of a move to the downside. Maybe a test back up at 15 would be a great entry into some puts. I'll be possibly getting into someone to let you know in the chat room at OptionMillionaires.com. SSYS down for a second consecutive day in a big fashion on Monday. Was down big on Friday. Also yesterday down over 3%. You can see this $55 level acting now as resistance as it's broken below it. Started on Friday. Again yesterday. It's going to be a key level to watch. You know, from a long-term perspective, I was bringing this up in the chat room. This chart looks a lot like the open table before it was bought out. Had a nice move up to highs, which was over 130, if you can believe it. Pulled back now, down over 60% from those levels. And I could see a bounce coming. I did get some calls. The $54 strike for 70 cents, something like that. Same with DDD, although not down quite as much, so a late day spike to the downside remains at support. You can see actually just below it, you can see the late day pullback. Also in the afternoon, we had a big spike to the downside on heavy volume. Twitter trying to get itself back over the $50 level. You can see it closed at $49.89. Was down under 49 briefly yesterday. The $50 level is going to be key, just like Solar City. $50 level is key. You can see the breakout it's had to start the year. It's up. It still continues to flag. We've got that nice spike up last week. Consolidation here. You can see kind of a pennant formation that's going to bring us up to $56. When it's coming soon. Coming soon to theaters near you. Twitter at $56 a share plus. Let's move on to, I wanted to bring up Tesla and Solar City, obviously. Hot stocks. Elon Musk came out yesterday, one of his tweets talking about, hey, not some sort of event to announce something that's not car related that's going to be positive for Tesla. You would think. Hearing possibly a battery system for the homeowner to power houses. Powerhouse. Certainly not the Jets. And we'll see if we can get that move back up to 205 and then ultimately break up over this long-term trend line resistance. Solar City was a $50 level, was tough nut to crack and hold over. And also look at the 47.50 longer term. But you see, we had a little bit of a bounce yesterday on the Tesla news. You can see intraday, but faded late in the session. You had the spike up, kind of consolidated, started to pull back. That $50 level has been a tough nut, broke under it yesterday before the spike up. So keep an eye on that. GoPro, been talking about this one for a couple weeks now, as it starts to melt its way up to 50, continuing to move off its lows in 2015. It's been a slow, methodical move, a heavily shorted stock here, and I think the next move is going to be a big spike up to $50. I'm not in any options yet. I'll let you know in the chat room at Option Millionaires. Apple, I was talking about this at the lows earlier last week. You can see this consolidation here in this channel. Wonderful channel, has worked out great over the last year. Look at it. Every time we consolidate, we bust out to the upside, and I think that's what's about to occur here. You can see we hit support, as I pointed out last week, and we're starting to move up. We bust out over that 26.50, 27 level. We're going to head up to 130 and then ultimately up to new record highs. The last time we moved out of the long-term consolidation phase, we moved up $13. So see, 115 up to 130, so about $16 a share. So you look at a move up to possibly 141 out of this. Woo! That'll be some move. And in Google, you can see continuing to work its way up to long-term trend line resistance. I've been talking about this line for quite a while. If we can break above it, we're going to be looking to move up to record highs, possibly $700 a share. Energy was on the mend yesterday, up 2%. It's getting back to this line here in the sand where two important trend lines are coming together as one, working as a team to possibly send energy. Could we see a bounce over $80? You can see the pullback, a nice W bottom. So that's something to keep an eye on. If we get crude oil starting to rally, if the U.S. dollar starts to decline, I would look for possibly some calls in XLE for a move to the upside. All right, should come by the chat room, live audio in a little bit to get this video up and to get some stocks. I'm looking forward today to trade. It's going to be an exciting day. Is it a dip buying day? Every dip since the lows in March of 2009 has been a great buy, the dip opportunity. Right now, stock futures are down almost 0.6%. We're pulling back, folks. We're back. But I talked about it last night in my market recap. The trend remains firmly to the upside. And you can see we're pulling back a little bit here this morning. But I do think, and if you look at the S&P 500 chart here, we have support. Bring me support. Look at that trend line. Beautiful. And the trend, of course, remains to the upside. But we have support here about the 205 where we closed on Friday. The 205.75, 206 level. We're back about where we're about down here now. S&P 500 futures and looking for a bounce intraday. We'll see if that dip gets bought. All right, I'll see you in the chat room at optionmillionaires.com. Come stop by or the forum. I'll see everyone there. Have a great trading session. Goodbye.